Nobody wants to provide what a crappy product or a crappy service. I don't know anyone that's like, oh, I just don't care. Like, I don't care about the service. Like, everybody cares to some level, but I can tell it's definitely personal for you.
Sure.
That's another challenge because you're going to have to bring somebody on that nobody cares as much as you do.
100%.
And that's a challenge. Treading water is the same as drowning to people like you and me. You better start swimming. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Robb Green. So, welcome to today's podcast. We've got Jaclyn LaGravinese from Radiant Being Massage.
Yep.
So, welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe about 10 years.
Roughly, yeah, maybe a little less.
Maybe a little, no, I think it might. My kids are now almost 16 and 14, so.
Okay, yeah.
I think I've been going, I think we were,
Yeah.
We used to go to the place where you were an employee before, doing massage.
Yep.
And then when did you go out on your own?
Early 2022.
Okay, so a little over about 2.5 years.
Yeah, it was April
Oh, wow.
2022.
That goes quick.
Yeah.
Well, so I asked you to come today because I think you have experienced what so many people do in their journey from being an employee to now being a solopreneur. And now you're at that next stage of how do I go from being a solopreneur to being more of a business owner where the entire business isn't me.
Right.
So let's start a little bit with the background. So can you tell us a little bit what you were doing beforehand, before you started the business?
Yeah, I was a massage therapist. I was an independent contractor at a wellness center. Before that, I was also working massage at Massage Envy for 3 years. So I've been in massage about 12 years now.
Okay.
W-2, 1099, entrepreneur.
And so during that evolution from Massage Envy to the independent contractor at the Wellness Center, you then felt like you were kind of reaching the end of your opportunity there. Is that fair to say?
At Massage Envy?
Yeah. No, well, there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But then you
First
moved
day
over.
in.
Yeah, I think everybody feels that way that works there probably. Because you're only making so many hours, you don't control your schedule, you don't control your customer.
I will say it's a great learning ground.
Sure.
For a brand new therapist, brand new in the field. You don't have to worry about anything except your hands-on experience. You're protected. So I don't want to bash it all the way.
Totally get it.
But
great starting ground.
Great starting ground. Do not get stuck there. Get out and do your own thing.
Then you moved to the Wellness Center.
Yep.
And you worked there for how long? A long time, right?
7.5 years.
Okay, 7.5 years there. But then did you reach a point where you're like, okay, I'm not able to really control and go to the next level there?
Yeah, I was strapped with the amount of hours I could work, the amount of clients I could see, the amount of money I could make, and I was bound to it. I was a 3-month wait list, which was great, but it gave me no flexibility or no freedom within my own personal life. And I just said, there's got to be more.
So it sounds like you were busy.
I was very busy.
Tons of demand.
Yes.
But you physically couldn't work any more hours.
Physically couldn't work any more hours.
Got
I
it.
even reduced my hours towards the end because I just said I can't work 9 to 7, 6 hours of massage a day, 9-hour days, like
Physically demanding, obviously.
too physically demanding. It was my entire life.
Wow. Okay. So the idea to go and be an entrepreneur was to work less and hopefully make more money.
Well, yeah. So now instead of 9 to 7, I
Okay.
work 24/7, but it's for myself, right?
100%. I totally get it. I mean, they say an entrepreneur is willing to work 80 hours a week to not have to work 40 for somebody else.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
but I love it.
That's awesome. So then it's a great fit for you.
Yeah.
So when you left, you had kind of created a situation where you put yourself in a position you needed to leave. Is that fair to say? Because you kind of like put yourself in you made a decision to move on, and then what happened?
I made a decision to move on, and I was asked to leave.
Okay. They didn't like your idea to move on.
No, and I gave a month's notice.
Okay.
And I said, this is where I am. I've asked for things. I'm not getting the things I'm asking for. It's time to go. I wasn't.
Fair enough.
I wasn't in alignment with that practice at that time.
Sure.
I had been a member of that practice for a long time. I had been under their care. They shaped who I was up until the moment I said, this isn't who I want to be anymore.
Sure.
And once I said that, it was like,
Yeah.
can't do that. Plus, there's, the ethical of clientele, whose it is.
Sure.
It's no one's.
It's nobody's.
Nobody belongs to me. Nobody belongs to anybody.
They go see who they want to see, right?
They can go and see who they want to see. I understand everyone has a business to provide for and to
Sure.
Protect. But at the end of the day, like, hey, it's every man for themselves.
Right. And you were an independent contractor.
I was an independent contractor.
Right. So then you said, all right, I'm going to go start my own place.
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through that process, because I think that's a scary idea for a lot of people that are starting their first business.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what did you do? How did you find a place? Where did you pick a location? What did you do?
You know, it was gradual. Radiant Being started in 2020 on a little notebook, me writing down names, business names, and getting ideas, and just redecorating the massage room where I was at, getting an Instagram, doing that internal growth. And then it wasn't just like one day I decided to start a business. It was like, no, one day the seed was planted and one day it was brought to harvest. And so that process was like watching paint dry until it was just like, oh, this is ready to go. I went online and Googled rental spaces. I put in a 5 to 7 mile radius from where I was at. I cried a lot of times because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing or if this is the right. Found a place, found the budget within the budget I wanted, looked at it, made the decision and signed the contract, and like that was it. It was just a matter of me taking the steps I needed to take.
How long a contract did you sign on the first one?
I'm just yearly.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make, is generally office space and warehouse space. They want you for 5 years. Like that's the standard. I would never sign a 5-year lease on any business. We don't pay a 5-year lease here. Like there's no way. And I don't ever recommend anybody, unless it's something like they've already had success with it and it's a franchise operation and they know that it's going to be successful, because you're on the hook for 5 years, which is just a long time.
And that was just it. I mean, I'll be 3 years in April, and I am like jumping, biting to get out of that where I am. And it's not it's just I've outgrown it, just as I outgrew my other space.
Yep.
It's not so much, it's the business is still containing in one room, but it's me. I'm like, I just want better for my clients and for myself. And if I had signed a 5-year lease in there, I probably would be like just kicking myself and trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Okay, so right now, basically you shifted over to being a solopreneur, and now you are the sole practitioner.
Yep.
In what's called a one-room office.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously you made it, I've been there, made it very nice, and it's very pretty inside and very tranquil.
Thank you.
So I love what you've done with it. What do you see as your next step in this evolution of being an entrepreneur? Like what's your vision for what you want Radiant Being Massage to be?
My vision. Well, that's where it gets tricky, because I'm torn between two things. Stay where I am, hire someone.
Okay.
Let them work my off hours.
Okay.
And maybe build up more revenue, more clientele, more confidence within myself.
Okay.
And then get into a bigger space with multiple rooms, maybe discipline. So maybe having an esthetician, having a stretch, therapist, things like that. So, and having just more of a wellness center, places where clients can come, they can sit 15, 20 minutes before their session, relax, unwind, get their treatment, get their care, sit for another 10, 15 minutes, and then leave. Maybe even having a little retail side of things.
Okay.
Just because the idea of you come in, you get your massage, you pay for your massage, you book your next massage, and you leave. Mm-hmm. That is not the model that I want to go with. And that's kind of what massage is. You know, a lot of places, it's just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. And I want a slow down, tranquil, whole body wellness center.
Okay. So those are very different options.
Yes.
Very different. If you knew you wouldn't fail, which one would you choose?
Oh, the second one.
Okay. So the concern is, fear
Yeah.
of the second one is why you don't do the second one.
Well, is it too big of a jump? Am I thinking too highly of myself and my business? So to say, oh, I can just go from a one room to a multi-room, triple my overhead and expect it to work? Well,
maybe.
Maybe.
Right?
Why not?
Why not? That's how I mean, granted, I am more on the, I take on risk a lot more than most people do. And I'm more comfortable with risk and buying a lot of inventory and I don't know anything other than going fast and scaling. So I think I'm wired that way, though, a little bit. And I think most people are not. My wife is not. She's definitely more risk averse than I am. And so I think most people, what you're going through is a very common concern.
Sure.
So maybe a way to ask it would be, what would need to happen so that you had confidence in going that option B route?
A surplus of finances.
Okay.
'Cause up until now, the business has been sustained by, it was started with my personal savings, and now it has just been sustained through cash flow. And so I haven't had to go into any debt. And so doing that is scary for me, or taking loans or grants, anything like that is just, it's a whole different beast.
Mm-hmm.
That as the technician, I don't know how to do that. I'll be completely honest. Not that I can't hire people who do know how to do that.
100%.
Or I can't figure it out, but it's that technician. And I think my business, like the E-Myth, my business has been technician run. I hung the shingle and I said,
Yeah.
business owner and manager, you're out here. I'm going to run this business because this is what I know.
Yep.
And now that technician is screaming and saying, I'm tired. Will the business or the manager or the owner step in and do something to help me?
Sure.
And
that is everybody who's, you call it technician, I call it practitioner, anybody that has a skill, whether it's laying tile or whether it's doing massage or PT, whatever it might be. I think that is the biggest transition, is from solo practitioner to the next step, which, like you said, could be maybe you just hire somebody underneath you and to work other hours, because you're paying rent 24 hours a day.
Right.
So you've got capacity right now, and this is how I think about it. In your business, you have capacity. Do you have enough demand for the company's services to hire somebody else to come work for you part-time?
Not to provide them with adequate income that would keep them there.
Okay.
It takes time to build up a massage practice. So we say 3 to 6 months to get a returning clientele, because how often are people getting massages, and how, what's the volume versus how many you can see in a week, like the volume of clients, the incoming clients. So no, right now I don't have that.
Okay.
But I also don't have that because I haven't been marketing for that.
Perfect.
I've just been going off of referrals and the clientele that I built over the last 12 years.
So that leads us to sales and marketing,
Yes.
which I think is also the biggest challenge for practitioners or solopreneurs, because I was talking to some friends about this last night. All we do is marketing online. Like, everything we do online is marketing. We make products and we sell them, but really it's all sales and marketing. If you're an offline business, generally speaking, it's the traditional, like, word of mouth, and you're more traditional forms of marketing, right? To get out in the community and do all that kind of stuff. But what you really need is you need demand. Regardless of which option you choose, you need A or B.
Right.
You need demand for your services. And so I definitely would not do B if you don't know how to build demand.
Right.
Because it'd be super hard. It'd be really difficult. Like, there's no field of dreams. There's no, like, build it and they will come. That doesn't work.
Darn it.
I've seen too many businesses do that. You're like, that restaurant closed down. So it happens all the time. But I like your idea of staying because you built capacity, and then having a goal in mind of, can I drive enough revenue? So can I double? First of all, do you make more money now than you made when you were an employee?
Yes.
Perfect. So that's the dream. That's step one. Step two is, how do you take yourself out of it so that you're not the only revenue generator?
Yeah.
How do you make money while you're not there?
Right.
And that is the next step in your evolution. So I would say two things. One, if you can build demand, it might suck in the short run because you might have to take up that supply. You might have to be the supply of that demand in the beginning. But then that will allow you to get a better person to come work for you.
Right.
Because if you're like, I got 1 hour a day for 3 days a week, you're going to get probably not a great massage therapist to come work for you.
Which is why I haven't done either. I haven't
Yeah.
opened the floodgates for that demand, and I haven't just said, I'm just going to get someone in here and we'll just shuffle around 1 or 2 clients. Like, I don't want to do that to someone because I wouldn't want that to be done to me.
Yeah.
There is an amount of sitting that you do in this profession waiting to build your clientele, but sitting.
But I think you can solve that.
Well, as far as, someone might come in one time, not like your massage, and then you have to, but.
But if you build I think of it like this. If you build a flow of demand,
Yeah.
then it's much easier to get the massage therapist.
Agreed.
So it's the hardest business to build, which is a two-sided marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
In your microcosm of the economic situation, you are trying to build the demand side of it, which is the marketing, And then you're also trying to build the supply side, which is the practitioner to service that demand.
Right.
And it's never going to be perfectly aligned, right? But I would argue that you'd want to increase the demand first rather than have a practitioner that comes in and sits and does nothing.
Right.
So I think you want to build demand or a machine that builds demand for you. And by doing that, then you can get a higher quality practitioner to come work with you. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, that's fair. Because I don't want to just hire someone to hire someone.
Okay.
Because this is important to me.
I can tell. You definitely, it feels personal, right? Which nobody wants to provide what a crappy product or a crappy service. I don't know anyone that's like, oh, I just don't care. Like, I don't care about the service. Like, everybody cares to some level, but I can tell it's definitely personal for you.
Sure.
That's another challenge because you're going to have to bring somebody on that nobody cares as much as you do.
100%.
And that's a challenge.
100%.
So one tip I would give you that has helped me over the years is, do they care 80% as much as I do? That's a win.
That's a big win.
Big win.
I was going like 75.
75 was a win also. If they care that much about your business relative to you, you have to accept that as a win. And too many people think they're going to work as hard as I am, they're going to be as dedicated as I am, they're going to care as much as I do, and you're just set yourself up for failure. No one's going to meet that level.
Well, and understanding that I don't necessarily need them to care about my business and my passion. I want for the business, I want them to feel that way towards massage and body work and client service.
Okay.
So if I can get them 80% there and 65%, yeah, I want to promote Radiant Being because I think it's this great and fabulous idea. I think I could do that. I think I could live with that.
There's no doubt we live in Phoenix, there's no doubt in Phoenix metropolitan area, there are candidates that fit that mold.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
They're working somewhere else that they're not happy with. I guarantee there are people that
I was that person
10 years ago. So, okay, let's talk about tactical stuff. Mm-hmm. What have you done so far from a sales and marketing perspective? Because you're a typical, brick and mortar, offline service-based mm-hmm. business. What have you done so far?
Well, I've been really fortunate to have had a built clientele mm-hmm. starting my business, and that's what supported me.
Okay.
So word of mouth, referral system. I've gotten in with some practitioners that do similar work within the health and wellness field to help, throw clients back and forth between each other. I've done a little bit with Google AdWords.
Okay.
But I really haven't seen the return on investment, so I've kind of shut those down. And sometimes when I do put that out, the types of calls I get mm-hmm. are just not the types of clients that I want. And I don't turn anybody away.
Weirdos.
We're
going to talk about weirdos in a minute. This will be fun. But let's go back to referral. Mm-hmm. So when you say referral, you mean from like other practitioners?
Or clients.
Okay, so mm-hmm. would that fall under word of mouth?
Yeah, right?
Okay, yeah. No,
yeah.
I agreed.
Okay.
But I want to split them.
Okay.
I want to talk about client referrals, and I want to talk about referrals from other practitioners. Do you currently measure where people come from and how many you get from different channels?
Yes.
Okay. Out of those two, which of them provides more referrals?
Oh, the clients.
That's what I figured.
Client.
Practitioners say they will refer people to you, and they might. Not that they don't want to. It's just that your business or you is probably not top of mind for them.
Sure.
So they're going to be less likely. So I would bet your best customers come from current clients.
Yeah.
Okay. Current clients,
mm-hmm.
what process or system do you have in place to make it incredibly easy for them to refer you clients?
I have a website. I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook. I have a direct line. I have business cards.
Okay.
I have a referral system.
Okay. So let's do I love this stuff. This is a real tactical stuff. So I've been a client mm-hmm. and let's say I'm at soccer and mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, and someone's like, oh man, I need a massage. And I think this is a good person for you, not a weirdo.
Thank you.
Some of them are weirdos, just to be clear. If any of you guys are listening, some of them are weirdos. I would not refer them to you. So I know what you're looking for because mm-hmm. I know you. So, and I want to refer them. Mm-hmm. What do I do? What would you want me to do? Is maybe the question. Then I'll tell you what I would do.
As far as you can share my information.
So just share like text.
Yeah, text or email. That's the best way to get in contact with me. I do have an online booking software where they can go and book for themselves.
Okay.
But I feel like sometimes that puts space between me and the prospective new client, which is fine. Sometimes that happens, but just direct phone line.
So as someone who would refer a client to you or a potential client to you, I have no idea what your Facebook page is, your Instagram, or your website. So and I have your personal cell, so I would be like, hey, my friend Brian should come meet with you.
Okay, then you can always give me their information and I will happily reach out to them.
And you do that manually today?
Yes.
So like you would go on your phone and you would then text Brian and be like, hey, okay. When I think about referrals, especially offline, I think about how do you reduce friction? How do you make it as easy as possible for them, most importantly, and then secondly for you? You may want to do some type of automation around that. And then is there any type of bonus, recognition around referrals? I think that's the second piece that I think a lot of people miss out on.
For referrals, once the client does book and see me, then the client who referred them will get a 10% off their next massage purchase.
And how do they receive that?
At their next time of session when they buy their package.
Perfect. So okay, let's use a real world example.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be pick on you.
No,
but
that's
this is
okay.
good.
That's okay.
This hopefully adds value.
I know my system, and sometimes I can't.
No, and this is why it's good, because it breaks down what, from a client's perspective, what they really want to see and what make it easy.
Right.
The biggest thing I would think about for you is just how do I reduce friction so that it's unbelievably easy for my current clients to refer me other clients, because that's my best source right now. And it's not only, it'll probably always be your best source of quality clients.
Yeah.
Even if you do get your marketing dialed in, they don't know you. I can sell you better than AdWords can sell you.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now let's just do this full circle here. So I refer Brian via text. You reach out to Brian and say, hey, Brian, would you like to come in? And Brian says, when are you available? And you say, I'm available these 14 different times. Tell me how it works.
So it's a little bit more fluffy than that.
All right, go ahead.
So I reach out, have my nice courtesies. So
Okay.
I would love to connect with you. My availability, I'm here Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 3, with 1 to 6 on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Are there times and days that work best for you?
Okay.
And I let them tell me then what is good for them.
Let's play this out, because I've played this game many times with service providers. I would like to come in at 1 o'clock on Wednesday this week.
That's not going to happen.
Okay. How about
Friday
at 2?
Friday at 2? This week. Or okay, I'll rephrase.
Okay, this is why this is good.
So we can rephrase and say, what times and days work best for you? Depending on the time and day, we're booking 2 to 3 weeks out. That way they kind of know, oh, hey, like I got to be looking. I can't pop in.
Okay.
So giving them like less options in a sense.
Okay. Couple ideas. I would lead with questions, such as, are you struggling with a chronic issue, or is this an acute issue that you need to resolve quickly?
Well, that is what I do for clients who will reach out from the internet. So they'll send a request, and I have like my list. I call it my screening, just to say.
I've gone through it.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you've had that because you were already an existing client. That's like my intake form.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've done it because I was like, checking boxes.
I know, optimization. I was very happy that you actually did that. No, that is the intake form, which is required.
Okay.
This is, so my go-to is like, have you had therapeutic massage before? What are your massage needs and goals? What are your ongoing issues?
Okay.
So that is what clients who are coming at me from Google and Instagram, that's what they'll get.
Why do the people that are getting client referrals via text not getting the same thing?
Because there's a deeper level of trust if they're coming from someone that I already know.
Okay.
I will ask them, what are you looking for? But I feel like I'm not looking for specific things. I'm not looking for just certain wording that might come from someone who's looking for.
I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, I would think that most people that refer somebody to you, something caused them to refer them.
Yeah.
So it's probably an acute issue more than chronic. I mean, it could be a chronic, but I think it's like, oh, I just hurt my back. I need to come in, I tweak my, lower back, and I need to go see someone. I can't wait 2 to 3 weeks. Right? I mean,
and that's a very real thing that does happen.
Yeah, 100%.
I will, at that point, sometimes try and work with a client to say, okay, well, what are you, let's not put that in there.
We'll edit that last section.
I'll ask them how we can make that happen. I'll reevaluate, look at my schedule, maybe move the things around, maybe work a longer day to try and accommodate someone who is coming from a client.
So that's where I think about like a decision tree, right? It's like, what is your problem chronic or acute? Chronic goes over into this bucket, acute goes over here.
Right.
I would try to lead someone down a path.
Well, then you also have to look at it too from a practitioner standpoint. If they want to just come in and you are bending the rules for them, this is where.
Let's talk about this.
This is where I think I said it in the intake, just like running my business with integrity, and that means having ethics and boundaries. So I don't want to break my rules for a client one time because sometimes they'll expect that every time.
Tell me what you mean by break your rules.
Work later or give them an option for an hour that's not usually existing on my schedule, because if I'm doing it for one client, I generally have to do it for all clients, and that's just the ethics of my how I like to work. No, but it's just how I see things. It's a level of ethics.
Are these, interesting word on ethics, they're false boundaries, so they're boundaries you've created.
Yeah.
They're not like physical boundaries.
No,
they're
it's not like
physics.
No.
We're not breaking the speed of light here.
No.
This is like, I've set these hours and I don't want to work later than, what did you say? What time? 10 to 3?
Yeah.
10 to 3 on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Because I've got other things I've got planned and I don't want to do that.
Right. And then it comes into, well, how many, if I'm already I see 4 clients a day, and that's usually my max. If I'm taking on a 5th client, am I going to be physically able to serve this client to the best of my ability that they deserve?
Okay. So this is a good conundrum, because if you bring on more demand with marketing,
mm-hmm.
and let's just say we pick up 10 hours a week, the only person to service that demand is you.
Right.
Okay.
So that's been the challenge, understanding, I got into this so I could, I went out on my own because I was maxed physically.
Okay.
And I've pulled back, and now I might have to max myself a little bit more physically in the short term until I can get someone else. That's completely understandable, and I'm willing to do that.
That's a good question. What are you willing to do to grow your business?
Yeah.
That's a real question.
Are
you willing to work 10 more hours a week doing massage and I'll call the short run 1 to 3 months?
Yeah. That's an easy win.
Okay.
That's an easy
You
win.
would definitely do that.
Yeah.
Because your other option, and I don't know if you've thought about this might not be financially tenable, but you have a client. How many hours a week do you work right now? 25?
Well, my max I'm slated for is 22. I usually hit between 17 and 18.
Okay. I mean, you theoretically could bring on somebody and give them your book of business.
Mm-hmm.
And they could work for you and do those 17, 18 hours. And then Jaclyn has no hours of service, because that gives somebody 20 hours a week, right?
Right.
Which is great. Then you're making, you pay them some percentage of the revenue. Let's just call it half for argument's sake, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd cut your financial income in half in the short run. But that might motivate you more to increase the demand side of things. And then you've got flexibility to pick up.
See
what I'm saying?
Yes. So the problem with that is the clients who come.
They want you.
They want me.
That's a problem.
And, I've built relationship with them over years, and I'm not willing, or I'm not, that's just not going to how I could run things ethically. I use that word a lot.
If you were there working your current schedule, and you brought somebody on, I would assume the demand would be for later than you work now.
During the day.
Yeah. Like I would think people want to come in the evening.
Yeah, that fills up like first, that and Saturdays.
Yeah.
You know,
because people are working during the day.
Sure. Although you'd be surprised how many people
I'm-
can come in on 11:30 on a Tuesday.
I'm very surprised when I show up at 11:30 on a Tuesday that I'm available. So yes, but I do think a lot of people are working, so they're not available. I feel like that's an easier time slot to pick up.
Filling in a 4 to 7 time slot would be almost instantaneous.
Okay, so I'm going to go back then. I like the other idea better. I want to go build demand first. So how do you think your current clients would feel about referring someone to you that is get work done by somebody else? Think they care?
No, I think because at this point, I mean, there'd be a certain,
Sure.
I don't think that they would hold back because I think they would trust my word to say, hey, she's not going to provide someone.
She's vetted.
Just as I wouldn't send one of my clients to a practitioner that I didn't trust. So I think they would still, because they want to support me.
Yeah.
They want to support the business.
I would ask some of your current clients that are your biggest referrers and some that haven't referred anybody over to you. A couple questions. Why do you refer people to me? And then why don't you refer people to me? And what would make it easier for you to refer people to me? You said something earlier about you said something about 10% off their next visit. I'll be blunt about this. I don't care about 10% off.
Not a lot of clients do, believe it or not. They're like, oh, that's okay. And I'm like, oh, geez, well. Okay.
I agree. So most people don't care about the 10%. I mean, it's not that I would take it if he gave it to me.
Right.
Not going to be complaining about it. But it doesn't motivate me to want to refer clients to you.
Doesn't move the needle.
Doesn't even register on the needle. The needle doesn't move at all.
Fair.
So for me, and I would think your current clientele, what motivates them? I think most of them want to add value to their friend or the person they're referring and add value to you, right? Because they like you. Hopefully they like you.
Maybe.
And hopefully they like you. And so they're going to add value to both people, and then they're a connector, and then they're like a winner in that game. One thing, and I've talked to our friend Sean about this a lot, closing that feedback loop. What I mean by that is, let's use my buddy Brian as an example. I refer Brian over to you, and then you take it from there, and I'm not involved in any of the conversation. But I have no idea. Did Brian schedule? Did it work out with Brian? Did he like it? Like, I have no feedback loop. And most people want that feedback loop if they're going to refer somebody to somewhere else. Positive or negative.
Yeah.
Especially the positive, though, because it's like I've referred people all the time to different services, contractors, things like that. I referred friends to this. They did a big remodel in their house. A guy I know really well. He worked on our house, and I got nothing. Don't even know. Like, the only reason I know is because my friend told me, and he was out of town. And I had to go check on his house. But I was like,
that's new.
I didn't hear anything about. Yeah, I didn't hear anything like, oh yeah, thanks for sending Steve over. And so closing that feedback loop, I think, would be really, really valuable because it reinforces me to refer someone else to you.
So do you mean like me reaching out to said client who referred?
You reaching out to me.
Yeah.
So I refer Brian.
Yes.
And then I don't care about the 10%.
Yes.
I don't think most of them do. But I would want to know, hey, by the way, I connected with Brian. He's scheduled to come in 2 weeks.
Oh, and yes, I do that.
And then, hold on, after Brian comes in, Brian's a great referral. Thank you so much for that. If you have other people that you know that are like Brian, not a weirdo, I'd put that in there, not a weirdo, please refer more people to me.
That's like a trendy term this time.
I like this. Call it it could be your tagline, no weirdos allowed. So, but that feedback loop, I think is human nature. They want to know that it worked out for you and for Brian.
Then that's from where I came from before I ran my own business. That was client relations. That was big and huge, and that's something that I did take with me and I did learn. Now, am I always great on it? No.
Okay.
But I think you're right. Just it's those point of context, because again, it's not always top of the mind. You know, they're living their life. Yeah, they have their book massage every month, but hey, just to check in, thank you for this.
I even have another idea for you. This is really old school. Like, 20 years ago, old school. Actually, even longer. But I used to do this all the time 20 years ago. And every month I would sit down, I'd watch football, and I would write out handwritten cards.
Yes.
Have you done that?
I haven't done handwritten cards, but I have gotten them as thank yous or birthday cards.
And what do you think?
And I think they're great.
Because they're different.
They are different, and it's something tangible. We don't have a lot of tangible things nowadays, right? It's like everything's digital. I'm in a tangible business. I'm in a hands-on business. So, yeah, adding cards.
And even maybe a small gift, depending on the person, I think would add more value than 10% off.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just say it's 10% off, which was $10. My recommendation is to take that $10 and allocate it to something else. So you can buy like 50, Costco's probably got 50 really, really nice, we bought them, really nice cards, right? They're already like they're fancy cards. They come in a box. You buy those, and then you handwrite them. And you can do it once a month or whatever. And then a small gift as a token thank you. Everybody appreciates that.
Yeah.
And nobody gets it anymore because nobody does it anymore because it's old school. So you're zagging when they're zigging.
100%. I have done things within the business like for the 1 year anniversary. Well, I raffled off, and so getting people to engage in that, I raffled off a couple massages.
Okay.
For the second year, I did You're the Bomb, and I had bath bombs, and everybody who came in that month got a bath bomb.
Love it.
Even people who don't take baths still wanted to
Love
leave with something because it was like, oh, I can give this to my grandchild, or I can
Correct.
give this to my friend, and it was just that little tiny thing. People like to leave with more than the experience.
Yes. And those things leave a mark for a
Yes.
lot of people, and they go a long way.
And it doesn't take very much on my part. And I like doing that stuff. I think I've gotten away from that part of the business because I'm so focused on have to do this massage, that massage, this soap note, and take care of the practitioner side of things and not the business owner.
The only way for you to do this is to really allocate a time to do it. If
Well-
you don't say like Sundays from 4 to 6 is my hands-on grow the business, like touchy-feely kind of stuff, then you won't do it because it just won't happen. It's just typically.
No, that's and that is something that I've just now really dedicated myself to doing because
Okay.
I'm like, I can't keep doing this practitioner work and expect people just to show up, right? So I've been habit stacking, is that what they call
Yeah.
it, right? And so getting up earlier, setting my intention, having my meditation, having my prayer time, having my writing, and just having that focused mental time, getting my workout in, and then working on the business for an hour, and then going and doing the hands-on work.
Nice.
So having that, and then coming home and doing the laundry and all the aftercare
Sure.
of that, and just running it from a business owner standpoint has been huge just within the last month, really.
I think that's excellent. One framework that I don't know if you're familiar with, and I'll butcher this story, but basically the founders of Airbnb, when they first started it, they got like random people to do it, and then they, can I stay at your house? And like rent out a room back then. That was the big thing, was renting a room. But one story I've heard is that they said, how can I create, what is a 8-star, out of 10? What does that look like? Experience. What's a 9-star? What's a 10? What's an 11? Like, what is an over the top? Like an over the top is they're flying to Vegas to go see U2 at the New Sphere, and we're renting them a house, and U2 picks them up at the airport, right? Or U2 flies them on their plane with U2 to Vegas. Like, okay, well, we can't really do that. So now let's back down a little bit, right? So I would say, what is like an ideal experience? Like, I've gone to a couple spas, Monica's gone to quite a few, and like really like these amazing experiences where can you create something that is such a impactful experience with physical products, with thank yous, with something that keeps you top of mind to grow the business so that people are more invested in helping you become that business that you want to do, which is the multi-location or multi-room wellness center. And also, I think you need to tap into, like, I call them super referrers. Like, in a lot of businesses, I'm a super referrer. Like, I like telling people about what I like. I like telling people what works. I've been doing this mega Pilates recently. And, right over, not even far from you, actually.
Oh, okay. Right over the freeway.
Yeah, I'd never done it. Someone who works here referred me. I went in. almost all women. I've been bringing guys in, like buddies of mine. I brought a buddy on Sunday.
Let's go.
Brought another guy, and they're like, "Oh, new people, guys, that's crazy." And it's a really hard workout, actually. It's great. It's a mega reformer, they call it. But I've been referring a bunch of people.
Yeah, I've
so
seen that place.
Because it's called MegaFit AZ. So I love it. So I like it. I'm getting value out of it. So I've referred multiple friends. I brought my daughter. I've brought a couple guy friends. I got another guy friend who's going to try it. So I would consider myself like a super referrer in some cases. Mm-hmm. Identify those super referrers in your business.
Yeah, they're all popping across my head right now.
Yeah, you probably have five people.
I call them like the web, like
Perfect.
You have one person and it's just like it trickles down, which is a little dangerous because then you have this web of people telling you all different things about each other.
But hone in on those super referrers so that they feel appreciated.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, that's key. It's not the massage is the main event, right? But the experience, like you were talking about, is what I want to create.
100%.
From the moment they see my website to the moment they make contact with me to the moment they walk in the massage room and then leave. And I don't feel like the frustration is I don't feel like because my environment with my office isn't 100% what I want it to be, I feel like I have been withholding bringing new clients in. So this might be part of the fear thing of like, this isn't 100% who I am and how I want to represent my business.
Okay.
And so thinking that I need to get into a better place. So I just kind of, it's this spiral, double-minded conversation that goes on in my head.
I don't think you'll ever get it perfect.
No.
And I don't think you'll ever really know. You'll never satisfy everybody, first of all.
Right.
So those people that are super refer, I really think it'd be really valuable to ask each person why they refer people and why they don't refer them. And then specifically your super referrers, really give them the love and the appreciation, I think. And each person's different. Like, I'm not a gold star or an attaboy guy. Like, I know some people are, but like when I worked in corporate America, like keep your $20 gift card to Starbucks. I don't really give a shit. So like,
shout out.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't need that. Attaboy Rob. I don't need any of that crap. That's fine. It's like I dislike it, but it's like it doesn't do anything for me. Right? But a lot of people, they love that recognition. Like there's a reason like you go to a fast food place and there's a plaque employee of the month on the wall because some people really love that stuff, right? So finding out kind of like what motivates these people and it won't be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
And whether that's a gift, whether it's a free massage or something like that, I would really do more of that because that will amplify your success. And then the second layer, which is this cold marketing piece. So do you currently like Google My Business or Google Local? Are you familiar with this? So if I am within a 5-mile radius, which we are right now of your location probably, and I search massage therapy, where do you show up?
I should.
Do you show up, though, is number one. And if you do show up, how many reviews do you have?
I think right now on Google I have 12.
Okay.
So this is
2.5 years, you have 12 reviews.
12 reviews.
Okay.
On my booking software,
I
think I have close to 30.
But I wouldn't see that as I'm trying to find you.
So what I've been contemplating, some people will leave reviews on both. Reaching out to the clients who have left a review on the massage book or the massage book software booking. Can you transfer that over to a Google? Okay.
I have one action item that you absolutely must do, and you have to tell me after you do this.
What?
You have to get 100 reviews on Google.
100? That's going to take me a little bit because that's going to take about a month.
No. I mean, maybe a month, but that's fine. It will change dramatically.
Really?
So reviews are a big thing online for us. And so we need reviews. Like you need to like stand out as social proof, right?
Yeah.
12 feels like you just started.
Yeah.
Not that you've got 12 years of experience from a consumer's perspective.
Right. And it took me almost a year to even send out emails, like follow-up thank you emails, asking for reviews because I was like, oh,
you're scared.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
So come hell or high water, you need to get 100 reviews.
Okay.
And this will change the game. We have a mutual friend that I've been saying this to for years. She finally did it. And she's like, she's got been busy this summer. I've been getting new clients. I'm like, oh, I wonder from where? Google. Huh, shock. People are using Google to find things these days. That's so weird. But are you showing up? Number one. That's a different service provider because you're not going to learn that skill of SEO. So I might be able to refer you to somebody that can help you with that. But secondly, you have to have social proof so that people that go there automatically go, oh, I'm going to try this.
Right, because a lot of people aren't. Some of my clients are saying, yeah, I searched different massage therapists. I searched the first 5 and you seem to fit the most. But not everyone's going to do that. They're going to click. Who's the top of the list? Let's see, how close are they to me? Yep. Yeah, this looks good.
And what really matters is relativity. So I'll give you an example. We sell a lot on Amazon. So if I have 1,000 reviews, does that sound like a lot to you?
Well, yes.
Maybe it does, right?
Yeah.
Most people. But if my competitor has 100,000,
right.
It's not a lot.
Well, I'm a consumer. I go on Amazon. And if there's,
perfect. How do you look at it?
How many purchases? Oh, there's only 25 reviews. Yeah, no, this is probably something that's going to come from.
What do you think your customers are doing when they go to Google? The same
Hopefully
exact
not the same
thing. The same exact thing. This is the lowest hanging fruit that I see for offline businesses.
Yeah.
Is they don't, and granted, it's so important in our business that we're hyper-focused on it.
Yeah.
Like we track the number of views on a platform, Amazon or TikTok right now, every day. Every day we have a number that we see how that number is going up. And are we getting enough reviews to grow that review base?
Yeah.
This is not you. This is everybody I know that does offline businesses. They're like, oh, I got Yelp, 3 reviews. I got Google, 12 reviews. This is the lowest hanging fruit because it will convert more of the people.
5 minutes left on the.
Okay, perfect. I better wrap up. Good job. Okay, edit that last part out. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Let's talk. Okay, so you've got to understand that it will help the conversion rate, but also it might help with visibility on Google.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest action item for you. You've got to find a way. You keep talking about ethics, so you have to decide how white hat, we call it, you'd want to be on getting your reviews, or whether you want to step over to the dark side for a little while.
I feel like it's an easy thing to do, and
it's super easy.
Most people will be more than happy. The reason I didn't do it is it was for leaving the other practice was not. It was tumultuous, and so I didn't want clients putting their name out there under my business. But that's up to the client to decide whether because it was more of a privacy. It was
2.5 years. We're done with that now.
Yeah, no, that's
Let's
an old.
go.
I'm talking.
I get it.
Where it came from? Where's the
I get
fear?
it.
Where's the source? Okay, let's uproot that and say that's nonsense.
Let's get rid of that. Let's
get
wipe
rid
that
of
off the
that.
shoulder.
Yeah.
And now you're going to reach out to everybody you've ever worked on, and get them to leave your review.
Okay.
That's what you got to do.
Okay.
That is number one action item. That will increase demand.
Yeah.
No question about it. Number 2 I want to talk about before we finish up here, weirdos.
Yeah.
So you talk about this. I probably inappropriately joke about all this stuff about massage and things like that with my wife and probably with you and other people. I just think it's like a trope, right? But it's real.
It's 100% real.
So there are guys that think like, oh, I'm going to go do the get a massage and do the happy ending, like cliche.
I mean, it's not as outlandish as that. It's more like they want to press the boundaries. They want to see, for example, I had, when I first put it out there as far as like marketing and getting calls, got a call right off the bat from an individual. And I called him on the phone, spoke with him. It was great. Oh, he was an athlete and this and that. And we're like, okay, I booked him everything. Everything seemed fine. And at the end of the phone call, he goes, oh, do you undrape glutes when you work on them?
Huh. Interesting question.
A very interesting question. And I was like, do I? Well, you are draped, so we're not completely exposing. Well, because I've been to massages before, and when they work on the glutes, they work over the sheet. It doesn't feel as good when they're working. So
that's a yellow flag.
That's a very yellow flag.
Maybe red.
That's like pitching between like red and
red
and yellow. It's like orange.
That might be on fire.
Yeah. So stuff like that. P.S. I did book him.
And you undraped his buttocks?
No, he ended up canceling and not showing because I told him, look, I am a professional. I'm a licensed massage therapist.
Yeah.
There is nothing sexual in nature about the work.
Perfect.
This is what I'm comfortable with draping.
Yep.
Does that sound okay for you? Oh, yeah, that's fine. But, ends up booking.
I think you should. I don't have a good answer for this one to weed out weirdos. If I did, I'd be a billionaire.
It's having that questionnaire and having those strong boundaries to say,
Put a sign. I've
Well,
seen signs at massage therapy places.
by appointment only. It's on my website.
Okay.
I do have it on my website, which is probably why I'm not getting calls. Just kidding.
No, but you're trying to cut that off. So I think you're doing the right thing there.
Yeah.
So I wish I had a better answer for that, but that is amazing to me that it's really a real thing.
It's a real thing.
That's unbelievable. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to, you must follow up with me and tell me how many reviews you have
Okay.
by the end of this month. It's 2 weeks from now.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends. And if you're an entrepreneur interested in coming on the show, visit therobbgreenshow.com to get in touch. Stay curious and never stop learning, improving, or growing.